All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy JD. Welcome to the stream. Appreciate y'all hanging out with me live on YouTube on this Saturday evening. Really appreciate y'all hanging out, man. You watch the title of the video. If you take a look at it, you already know what it is, folks. You already know what it does. And without further ado, let's get things started, shall we? So, don't want to waste y'all time. I want to go ahead and kind of go through a couple things that stood out to me. I have typed out a lot of information here during the review, a lot of moves you put in here, a lot of segments. Well, not a lot of segments, but you know what happened. Let's just get to it. Let's start with the good, the bad, and the what the heck is going on. Starting with the fact that, let's start with the good. I should have prepped this up. If you haven't already watched it already, I highly recommend you check out my Monday Night Raw review this past couple days. And I said exactly what needed to happen tonight when it came to Asuka and Io Sky. I said back on Monday that they needed to steal the show. And I feel, and a lot of people feel, from what I've been kind of snooping around and sneaking to see what's going on in the, IWC, a lot of folks tend to agree. I felt that was the match of the show. It's a little bit frustrating because this was exactly what should have been at WrestleMania. Day one specifically, because day one was absolutely rough, crazy. But like, become the Backlash, Asuka, Io Sky, they brought the house down. That it was absolutely a decent match. I was really impressed with what they were able to do with obvious situations without having Kyrie out there. And the crowd definitely wanted to make sure the folks in the back knew exactly what was going on. And there wasn't anything they could have done about it, because they actually would have been looking silly if they started, either piping in fake crowd noise or even worse, muting what the crowd was saying. You know what I'm saying? So that was a really, really good match. You can go down the card. There were some matches that were good. There were matches that were great. Jacob and Roman Reigns, really main event, and it did what it needed to do. It progressed the story forward. And, Jacob had to do, he said he was going to do exactly what he said he was going to do. The outcome didn't come out as, some people may have thought, and certain things didn't happen. We didn't see the Usos. Jacob Fatu didn't end up acknowledging your tribal chief, Roman Reigns, and he still ended up standing tall at the end of it. He ended up with the title in his hand, raised it up high, standing on top of Roman Reigns after applying the tongue and death grip, essentially taking Roman out. Jumping back to the beginning of the show, you had Braun Breaker go up against Seth Rollins. And that match, you could tell that they were a little bit rusty in there. You could tell just by, just watching from beginning to end. And you absolutely could see, is this the effects of not having any live shows? You have your Monday Night Raw, you have your Friday Night SmackDowns, but you don't have anything in between to kind of keep the wrestlers in rhythm and make sure that they're sharp for, when that time really matters. When the time comes and they're ready to do what they need to do, you definitely saw a little bit of rust in there. That's all I'm going to say about that for now. We'll talk more about that later. When you talk about Danhaunsen, he had his tag team match with The Miz and Kit Wilson. That, I will say, unfortunately, that was the roughest match of the night. And not because it was bad. It was interesting. And you can see it a little bit. You can see Danhausen doing what he needed to do. You saw his tag team partner, which we'll talk about, which I'll just get it out the way because, again, I don't want to waste your time. It was not Jelly Roll. That's actually who I predicted was going to be his tag team partner. I thought it was going to be Jelly Roll. It's not Shane McMahon. Nowhere to be found in the arena, folks. I'm sorry to tell you, but Shane McMahon was not in the building today. And if he was, we didn't see him. It definitely sure as heck was not CM Punk. I forget the name of this wrestler, but it was actually a mini housing. Yes, you heard me correctly. After the very interesting segment we had yesterday with the gingerbread man and the memorial that was held, and Danhaunsen trying to figure out who his tag team partner is going to be. The fact that he did not get anybody to sign up to become his partner for Backlash, he had to come up with an idea. He went into the lab. He had to do the Dr. Wright, and the Dr. Wiley, and kind of put things together, mix things up. Ben Nye, the science guy, Bill Nye, excuse me, and then he puts the little things in there. He puts his tooth in there. He put it in the machine, and he puts on the button on the OSCRT screen. And what do you get? You get a mini housing. So that completely took me off guard, and it wasn't like deplorable bad, but it still was like, why is this on Backlash, right? That's the big thing for me. It's like, why is this at a PLE? More so, why was it on the premium live event version of the show? Obviously, they went the route of the first hour was ESPN2 or ESPN proper. I don't know what show it was on or what channel it was on. You get 2 matches on one of those channels. You can just flip on your cable channels for free. Then after that, it switched over to Netflix International as well as ESPN Unlimited, for those of you who have that. And you got that Danhausen match with his partner, Mini Housing. And that's what I'm going to call him. That's what they call him on WWE.com. That's what I'm going to call him. He's actually from AAA. He came back when WWE acquired him. Again, people know who he is. I just don't know who he is. You just have to look it up. I apologize. I'm like, I probably should have looked him up, but hey, it is what it is. The match was the match. And it's just, we'll get more into it. So we talked about Braun and Seth. We talked about, okay, Twick Willie, Mr. Beat That, Mr. Lemon Pepper Step is going up against Sami Zayn. He retains his Intercontinental Championship, and it's not the Intercontinental Championship. It's the United States Championship. Excuse me, I have to rephrase myself from saying that. But he retains his title against Sami Zayn for a second time. Sami Zayn essentially went off. He went heel. He did some heel moves, things that you don't expect someone who's on the good side of the coin to be doing. He was doing all kinds of just dirty stuff in the ring. He was beating up on Little Yachty. More on that later. We'll need to talk about Little Yachty, Mr. I watch all the shows and I know how to sell, sir. I'm sorry. We'll talk more about Little Yachty, sir. And then we go to, I think we already talked about Asuka and Io Sky. Io, god damn. What time do I have on the clock, man? What time is it? It's 11:10 p.m. at night. Your boy's tired. Your boy's been up since 8. Actually been up earlier than that, about 6:45. But we work all day. We work a 9-hour shift. And then from that, I actually had to watch Backlash as a video on demand because unfortunately, because of my schedule, I wasn't able to watch it live as it's happening. So that was another reason why I'm going live so late. I apologize for that, but your boy just had to do what he had to do. We, typed everything up. After that, took a break, went outside, watered some plants in 100-degree weather. And then after that, had a snack. Then we got everything here. We were also having slight technical issues. I had everything ready to go, set up. The camera was acting funky. I had to restart the computer. We opened up OBS, and then for some reason, it was just a small little square. And I'm like, why is it looking like this? Why are you pissing me off, Canon M50? Why are you doing this to me? I'm like, come on. I just want to start the stream, get things going. And we're finally here. So thank you so much for hanging out with your boy when it comes to that. Now, we'll start with the good. Io Sky, Asuka, tore the house down, like I mentioned earlier. It had to tear the house down, like I mentioned on Monday Night Raw review, and that's exactly what happened. And there was a little bit of catch towards the end of the match. I'll let you know that Io Sky won this match in a very good match, mind you. And again, this was a match that should have been at WrestleMania, but for some strange reason, we had to have Danhausen have his little spot. And when it comes to Danhausen, I don't want to knock on Danhausen. He has a purpose. He's a highly entertaining. His presentation's pretty good. Whatever they give him, he just maximizes it, and he does good. He's up with the crowd. He's up in sales. You have to give credit where credit is due. But at some point, your boy's getting a little oversaturated. I'm getting a little bit of too much Danhausen, folks. Mind you, think about it. You go on the WWE.com. You go to the Superstars page. You know, that page that for some reason they have trouble updating properly. Where Eric is not even on the Raw roster. When you sort out by the shows, you know, Ivar, his partner with the War Raiders, you know, an actual tag team, and you look for Eric, he doesn't show up. When you sort him out at Raw, you have to find him in the current Superstar. He's still active. Brother almost thought he was released. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Excuse my language, folks. Anyways, I tend to get remembered. But going back to Danhausen, he's a free agent, meaning he's on both Raw and SmackDown. So if you don't see him on Raw, you may not have that premium Netflix, I don't want to see your fucking ads edition. And you might see him, you know, tossing out t-shirts or whatever, but you still see Danhausen in some capacity on both shows. So at some point, they need to scale it back just a little bit. Because again, we don't want the good that's coming out of Danhausen, the entertainment that he's bringing to the table. We don't want that to feel like we don't want go away heat from Danhausen. That's the last thing we want. So it just comes back to, why was this even on Backlash? It should have been on SmackDown or Raw. Like, it just needed to come to a close on one of those shows. It did not need to be on Backlash. That was that. So that was the bad. So yeah, sorry. The good was Io Sky and Asuka. Another part of the good was Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu. You had a lot of good time with that match. They told a story. Roman Reigns was essentially trying to target Jacob's arm and hand so he didn't get his life taken away with that tongue and death grip. It was a good match through and through. And I just want more of it. I want the continuation of that. Without the Usos, without the MFTs. Keep them out of this. They all want a little bit of Jacob, but I just want to see Jacob and Roman continue the series. And based on the calendar, we will see Roman Reigns on Monday Night Raw. We'll see if Jacob Fatu is officially a Raw superstar, because they didn't really establish that. Yeah, my fan's off. I didn't realize that. So we're going to have to definitely make this quick so I don't get hot. They didn't ever establish that Jacob Fatu was a member of Monday Night Raw. We did get a little bit of Gunther going to SmackDown. You had Paul Heyman issue a contract to Gunther saying, welcome to SmackDown. We didn't see him sign that contract because he saw Cody Rhodes making his way to the ring in the middle of him signing this contract. But going back to Jacob Fatu, he just showed up on Raw, said, I need that title. And then he just puts him in a tongue and death grip and we have a match. But other than that contract signing, to my understanding, that was for the match. From what I watched, I had no indication that indicated that Jacob Fatu was an official member of Monday Night Raw. But I could be wrong. Check the website. They may have updated it. They may have not, but who knows? Another good thing was Trick Williams versus Sami Zayn. It was not bad. It definitely wasn't the worst thing in the show. That goes to Danhausen and his mini housing versus Kit Wilson and the Mids. That was a good show. Everything got the time they needed, which was something that WrestleMania Day 1 completely missed. I don't understand. We're coming from a WrestleMania. We're going to a premium live event in Backlash, and now you're giving the wrestlers the time they need to tell their stories? I don't understand that, but I appreciate it. I want to make sure I'm very clear on that. I don't want to continue to just dunk on WWE when they're doing everything wrong, which it just seems as though they're doing everything wrong. there are some good things here. Don't even get me started with the ads. Don't get me started with the baked in advertisements with the Teddy Long family holding up the general insurance towels. Make sure you're in the general insurance role. We don't want to talk about the cringe mug root beer segment that did on the show. That was cringe as hell. All the ads here and there. And again, since I saw the VOD, I was not subjected to the 3-4 minute breaks in between all of the other stuff they put in here. So, you know, I feel for y'all, but you know, I ended up having to pay for it because I was late to the party, as y'all see here. The bad, we're going to talk about, we already talked about Danhaunsen, Little Housing, Miz and Kit Wilson. And please give me a second. I need to turn this fan on. It's already kind of warm in here. One sec. All right. Sorry about that. But the other thing, let's talk about the WWE Backlash stage, shall we? Ladies and gentlemen, I had to go back into the history book, into the archives of WWE. And back in the day, they actually cared about the effort they put in to these premium live event stages. You remember back in the early 2000s, the 2010s, they actually took the time to make these things look special, to make them look unique to the theme of the show, to make them look good, to make them look cool as hell. I got some photos for you. I got a couple. They're not a lot, but I want y'all to take a quick look as to what I'm talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, this right here that you see is a photo of a WWE Backlash stage. This was in the early 2000s. My God, I am in trouble right now. I'm in trouble. This was a early 2000s stage of Backlash. You see how cool it is? Look at the Titantron. You see the screen up top. You know, it's a couple lines. It goes in a circle, kind of like SmackDown. And if I was a betting individual, this might have been a SmackDown only PLE. Remember when they used to separate the shows where the rosters was actually separated? They didn't interfere into other people's shows, and they actually had their own premium live events, or back in the day they called them pay-per-views. It's very possible, and I could be wrong, but this has SmackDown roster written all over it. But you can tell it's unique. He has this nice long little bar. You have these nice little curves on the right side. It's unique, fresh, and it's just special. Here's another photo. It's the same one. This is just an action, and you see how cool it looks when everything's lit up and doing what it needs to do. It looks cool, special. Now, you want to guess, if you haven't seen the PLE yet, you want to guess what this year's stage looked like? You want to see how special it looked like? I don't have an actual photo of this year, but trust me, you are not missing anything. Ladies and gentlemen, let me see. You see this right here? This is a photo of Friday Night SmackDown as the stage is. I just wanted to find one where you can kind of clearly see the stage. You see Lash Legend is about to powerbomb Chelsea Green to oblivion. Poor Chelsea Green. Shout outs to Chelsea Green, by the way. And hopefully she has a safe, speedy recovery. She had a heart procedure done. Her heart rate was going crazy, but they went and took care of it. But part of her procedures were scary, and I can't imagine how uncomfortable that was. But she's good now, and she is recovering. Hopefully we'll see her again very soon, along with Piper Niven as part of the Secret Harvest. Hopefully we see her again soon. But regardless, disregard the referee, disregard the powerbomb that's about to take place. Look at the stage, folks. It's just generic, just a small little rectangle for your screens, and everything's kind of lowered down. A lot of that is just because they like to have the ability to maximize seats, because you know how it goes. It's all about the money, right? But yeah, that's SmackDown for you. Here's Monday Night Raw. I didn't take that much time to look for one, but you can see, Monday Night Raw plastered everywhere. You see the screen on the left side of your screen, small rectangular, 2 bars of lights. It's as generic can get. If you wanted to guess what Backlash looked like, you know, the premium live event that people were spending $30 a month on for ESPN Unlimited, for some of y'all internationally who are paying for Netflix to watch this premium live event. Ladies and gentlemen, you ain't missing anything, because that's what the stage looked like. My God. It looked exactly like SmackDown and Raw. Nothing new. The exact same small rectangle, the same small 2 bars. They don't give a crap about making the show look special. They don't care. They don't give a fuck, guys. I'm sorry to tell you. They couldn't bother to even put a little amount of effort to make this look special. Although you pay for it, right? I'm sorry, I have to go there. If people, they enjoy the show, I say I enjoyed the show. It was pretty decent for the most of the show. Nothing to, there's some things to complain about, and we'll get to it. But for my goodness, folks, put some effort into the presentation of the show, man. People are paying top dollar to go to this show. 15,000 people were there. And they're just subjected to a basic, generic, I don't give a fuck how it looks version of Backlash. It's insane. I feel bad for people who spent that extra money to go there. You're not missing anything when it comes to presentation. There you go. Definitely bad. What else do I have on here? We need to talk about this format when it comes to ESPN and, you know, ESPN2. The first hour, I feel as though all they would needed to have done here is take that Danhaunsen tag team match, take it out of the premium live event version, put it on the free version, give the folks on ESPN something to enjoy and to laugh at. You know, it's a little giggly, you know, gets everybody involved, and it's like, oh, it's so funny. You got a little mini Housen just out here who rock around and is making Miz and Kit Wilson look silly. That should have been on the first hour. And honestly, it shouldn't even been on the pre-Ellie. Should have been on, like, you know, close this thing out on SmackDown. That's just my opinion. You could have had something else going on. You could have had a Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair. You could have had a Ilya Dragunov versus a Carmelo Hayes. You could have had a Roxanne Perez versus Stephanie Vaquero. I think Stephanie currently is on the shelf with an injury right now. You could have had the women's tag team champions, Paige and Brie Bella go up against the Irresistible Forces, or go up against Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez from the Judgment Day. But no, because Nia Jax wants to hit people in the head with microphones. The onslaught of injuries from Nia Jax continues. I'm just joking. That hasn't happened in a long time. So to see that happen, it had to be a freak accident. Obviously, Nia Jax didn't intend to bust Paige open with a mic shot to the head. Like, wow. No one intended that. But, you know, it happens. And luckily, they have medical to take care of Paige. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you again. Let's go ahead and get things started. But before we do, I just want to say thanks again. I can't thank you enough for hanging out. We have been producing content throughout the week. We skipped on Friday because I was like, you know what? Let me take a day off. I've been posting content, whether it's been video on demands for Streets of Rage 4. We did do a Monday Night Raw review. We also did a... What did we do? We talked about the tag team division and how barren it looks. Do you guys know how many tag teams, like actual official tag teams, that the men's division has in WWE? I can tell you, not including the respective champions, like the Vision on Raw and R-Truth and Damian Priest on one side, as their respective champions on each brand. These are how many actual tag teams. I just counted them with both hands. That's it. Looking pretty barren out there. It is what it is. But yeah, if you all don't mind, man, go ahead and check those videos out. If you put it all together, we've hit at least 1,000 views in total for all the videos that were posted this week. We got folks that are subscribing to the channel, which is awesome and it's greatly appreciated. If you enjoy this stuff, man, take the time and consider it. You ain't got to do it. consider hitting that like button. If you don't like this, hit the thumbs down. Consider subscribing and becoming a homie. We're trying to hit 2,000 and we're at 1,700. In fact, we're sitting at 1,717 subscribers right now as we speak. And the goal is to go to 2,000 subscribers. Maybe by the end of the year. I don't know. Another thing I wanted to talk about that earlier, we talked about the Steam controller. The Steam controller, it's out. People are starting to receive them. Mine, for some reason, was just stuck at the fulfillment center for the entire week. It released on Monday. It didn't ship, at least in my case, until Friday afternoon. I'm like, come on, man. But it's okay, man. We should be getting it in the next couple of days. It is moving now. It's great. I'm excited to get my hands on the new Steam controller. We talked about the news, and I don't know if it's still open, but if you're interested in purchasing a Steam controller, man, hit up Steam. As long as you haven't already purchased one, you have a Steam account, and it's been active since April 27th. If I remember correctly, you have to make a purchase prior to the 27th of April to be eligible to purchase the Steam controller. You would just click that you want to reserve one. You'll get an email when it's your turn to purchase one. You'll have 3 days to purchase the Steam controller before it moves on to the next person in the queue, and they will send them to you in the order that the reserves came in at. So they definitely responded to the crappy tappy scalpers out there, and they've immediately responded, and we'll see how that turns out. So hopefully if you're interested in getting one, you can double check to see. And again, I didn't check to see if it sold out again. But, you know, feel free to check them if you want one. Don't go on eBay to get a scalped one. That's why scalping keeps happening, because y'all continue to just give folks 2-3 times as much as it would just cost for you to just wait for a couple days. Imagine that. All right. Sorry to tell y'all the truth, man. This is being honest, but it is what it is. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. They started with a video package with Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu kind of going with their, like, recapping their stuff. They recapped everyone's stuff in that intro video. You got pyro going off. They are live in Tampa Bay, Florida. And this is what I was talking about. I said the stage looks like Raw and SmackDown. It's nothing special. I was very disappointed at that. I'm not going to lie. I was very kind of like, wow. It's like all that time you put into the show itself. It would have been cool to have made the stage look special and unique, but you know, we got to maximize profits in the WWE, so that's probably one of the things they've had to give up, is that we can't make them look special. We got to maximize profits. It's all about that dollar. Yeah, facts. You know what it's all about. Anyways, the entire show starts. This is first hour on ESPN. I don't know which ESPN it was, but it started there, and it started with Seth Rollins versus Braun Breaker. Sponsored by Invincible Versus. This is full of ads too, by the way, folks. And I apologize that there's a lot of ads that y'all had to deal with. But the match went for 22 minutes, and that alone was like, okay, that was a good start. It was a decent match. They gave them time to breathe and tell the story. They had a couple issues. There was a couple spots that looked kind of funky. And to be fair, both of them haven't been really in the ring staying fresh. So they had their first encounter after being on the shelf for quite some time for both of them. So you have to give them a little bit of credit where credit is due. But Seth Rollins comes out with his regular music, but he came out looking like Bane from Batman. Some folks said that he was looking like a Mortal Kombat character. So maybe he was looking like not Wolf from Mortal Kombat, because I mean, he had that mask, but he also had that helmet, so he didn't look like that. But I said he looked like Bane from Batman. That's who he reminded me of when he came out looking the way that he did. All black, had that weird mask, like he was breathing in and out of it. He didn't have all the extra stuff, but he looked like Bane. That's what he looked like to me. I didn't actually start recording all the things that happened in this match. I had initially said, you know what? I just want to record the second half of the matches because I want to experience it without any interruption. But I'm like, okay, it's getting good. It's starting to pick up. And that's when I started to just take notes of what's been going on in the show. It started with a slight botch. So when Braun Breaker gets Seth Rollins over to the turnbuckle. He picks him up, gets him up, and sit on the top turnbuckle. Braun Breaker jumps up there. You know what he does before he does his Frankensteiner, which is a Hurricanrana, basically. But he didn't get all of it, and he landed kind of strangely when he was coming down on the turnbuckle when he reversed with that Frankensteiner. Breaker met Rollins at ringside and hit him with a spear, but Rollins countered with a super kick. He kind of had to jump and kick him because you know how Braun Breaker rolls out of the ring and he's about to like load up and he's about to run at you as fast as he can to break you in half with his spear. That's what he tried to do, but instead of taking that spear, Seth Rollins counters with a super kick. They both get in the ring before the count of 10 because they're both knocked out at the time. Another botch took place. And I don't exactly remember what the botch was, and that's what I need to really go back and review some notes. But Braun Breaker hits a standing moonsault because of that botch. It was so bad, Braun Breaker actually had to kind of improvise in the moment, and he did a standing moonsault right after. He pins Seth Rollins. He kicks out at 2. Braun Breaker has Seth at the turnbuckle. Seth counters into a buckle bomb, so he picks him up, but instead he lifts up Braun Breaker and he sends him to the other side of the ring. He throws him over towards the top of the turnbuckle for a buckle bomb. Braun Breaker responds with a big clothesline. Both of them, after all that energy was expelled, they are both down on the ring. From this point, the crowd is chanting, "This is awesome." So you get your first "This is awesome" chant for the night. There were multiple, and I have to agree, those situations were pretty awesome. While this is happening, Seth rolls out to the outside to the floor. From there, Braun Breaker hits Seth Rollins into the announce table. From there, Braun Breaker gets up to the apron. He's going for his jumping clothesline to the announce table. He hits it. And from there, Braun Breaker, Seth Rollins, he takes Seth Rollins and takes him back to the ring. Braun Breaker goes onto the turnbuckle. He's climbing up the turnbuckle. And from there, Seth Rollins goes up. He jumps up to the turnbuckle and hits him with a superplex. Now, normally, once he hits that superplex, he'll go for that Falcon Arrow once he hits the mat. But instead of Seth Rollins hitting this Falcon Arrow, Braun Breaker responds and reverses it and turns it into a Falcon Arrow of his own. He pins it, but Seth Rollins kicks out at 2. Both are back on the floor on the mat trying to get up. Braun Breaker gets a first. He takes Seth Rollins back to the turnbuckle. He puts Seth Rollins back to the top of it. He goes for another superplex. And while he's trying to do this, Seth Rollins is fighting back. He hits him by scraping his back. He is racked. So he just rakes the back to get Braun Breaker off of him. From there, Braun Breaker jumps back up top for yet another Frankensteiner. This time he hits it, but it goes onto the other turnbuckle. He goes and hits for a third Frankensteiner, but this time Seth Rollins actually flips and almost lands on his feet. He was pretty close, and he kind of botched that as well, but he did recover. We'll give him credit for that. Seth Rollins hits him with multiple super kicks, followed by a pedigree. Then right after that, he goes for his finishing stomp, but before he's able to pin for the referee to count to 3, Paul Heyman starts getting up on the apron and starts, yelling at Seth Rollins. It's like, how dare you do this? He's causing a distraction with the referee. So once this happens, Seth Rollins is like, you know what? He goes out to the ring. He hits the floor. He grabs the chair because he's about to be like, I'm about to go get this old, bald, greasy, nasty, bologna eating, cheese wiping, wine drinking son of a gun. I'm just messing. But he gets this chair. But when he gets this chair, the Vision starts to get involved. So you see Logan Paul and Austin Theory start running in to get involved. But Seth Rollins was prepared for them. He hits them with a chair. Then he hits Austin Theory with a stomp. Logan Paul is like, I don't want the smoke, man. And he retreats back to the backstage. So it's like, okay, this is done. He's going to run back into the ring. And as he gets into the ring, Braun Breaker hits him with a spear. He pins Seth Rollins, but he kicks out at 2. Braun Breaker goes for the... I made some typos here. My bad. Typos. Braun Breaker goes for yet another spear, but this time Seth Rollins counters with the spear of his own. Seth Rollins goes up to the turnbuckle and he goes for the spear, but before he could do that, actually no, it wasn't a spear. See, I messed this up. I am so sorry, folks. Seth Rollins goes up to the turnbuckle because he wants to hit a super stomp. That's what it was supposed to be. But before he could hit this move, in the mid-air, Braun Breaker hits him with a spear. From there, Braun Breaker gets up. He runs back and forth. He hits Seth freaking Rollins with yet another spear. He pins him 1, 2, 3, and Braun Breaker beats Seth Rollins via pinfall. So yeah, that was a decent match. It got enough time to breathe. It was still kind of botchy. There was a couple issues in between, but at the end of it, they were able to tell their story. I feel this may continue, but if it doesn't, that's okay. I feel like this needs to kind of just transition onto something else. Maybe they go at it again to see if they can perfect all the mistakes they made from this match. But other than that, like, it was pretty decent. I'm not going to knock it. I'm not going to hold him. It was pretty decent. Trick Williams versus Sami Zayn for the United States Championship match. And I say match, it's for the championship belt. It's late, folks. I am sorry. Things are looking funky for your boy right now. I'm sorry. All right, we're getting back to it. Right before Trick Williams comes out, first Sami comes out first. And before Trick Williams comes out, you had Kathy Kelly speak to him. It's like, what are your thoughts? You ready to handle your business? And essentially Trick Williams said, yes, we about to talk about it and we about to get it done. I didn't record what he was saying, but essentially it's like, I'm about to go out. He goes out with the little Yachty. He makes his way to the ring. It's little Yachty actually came out alongside with Trick Williams with that ridiculous candy cane kendo stick. I kind of skipped the beginning of the match, which wasn't that much, about a minute. And then from there, I started recording what's been going on. Trick Williams hits Sami Zayn with chops to the chest. At first, Sami hits Trick with chest chops, but he essentially wasn't no-selling. He's like, bro, are you serious? I'm going to show you what real chops look like. So he takes him to the turnbuckle. Trick Williams hits Sami Zayn with a couple chops to the chest. Then he hits him with the backhand. I call it the bitch slap. He's like, he bitch slapped Sami Zayn in the over in the corner. Sami Zayn rose out of the ring. From there, Trick hits Sami Zayn from behind. From there, Sami reverses the Irish whip and whips Trick Williams into the steel steps. Sami grabs the steps like he's about to hit Trick Williams, which I'm not exactly sure why he would have done this. If he hit Trick Williams, it would have signaled a disqualification. So I'm not exactly sure why he tried to go for this, but it was part of like him doing these bad moves, like moves heels do to get some heat, to draw heat towards them. He does those things. So that was part of the reason why he did that, at least in my belief. From there, though, Little Yachty distracts him. He's like, bro, you're not going to try and hit my homie Trick Williams with steel steps. So he just puts it down and he continues from there. They are back into the ring. Sami has control. From there, the crowd is chanting, let's go, Sami. Sami sucks. Kind of like how John Cena used to get that in the early 2010s, mid 2010s. But it was Sami Zayn. Let's go, Sami. Sami sucks. Let's go, Sami. Sami sucks. But what started happening was that the crowd just continued to say, Sami sucks. Sami sucks. And it got to a point where it just overshadowed the Let's Go Sami chants, and you couldn't even hear the Let's Go Sami chants anymore. It was overcrowded by the Sami sucks chants, which that was pretty interesting to see. I don't think I've ever seen that, even for John Cena. That wasn't happening, where it just overtook and this one side of the chant just continued to overbear what was happening in the arena. I found that kind of interesting. From there, Trick hits a bookend, but Sami kicks out at 2. Sami Zayn hits a sunset flip power bomb from the turnbuckle, but he pins Trick and Trick kicks out at 2. From there, Sami hits the blue thunder bomb. Trick kicks out at 2 yet again. The crowd they're chanting, Sami sucks. Sami sucks. I'm like, damn, man, he's getting all kinds of heat in the streets. But now He's on the mat and he's playing possum because he did something, but he was like favoring his leg, his knee, as if something was wrong. So it's like, man, Trick is like, he's not having that. So he's going towards Sammy. And as he gets close to Sammy, Sammy grabs him for a pin, but Trick kicks out at 2. It was a possum pin. Little Yachty hits Sammy with the kendo stick after referee Daphne was checking on Trick Williams to see if he was okay, to kind of dish that receipt back to Sami Zayn. So while the referee was distracted, Little Yachty gets up on the apron with his candy cane kendo stick. He cracks Sami Zayn in the back with it. Trick, what happens there? Yeah, Trick hits him with a spinning jump kick from there. He pins him. Sammy kicks out at 2. Sammy rolls out, or he rolls Trick out of the ring. Sammy is now attacking Little Yachty instead of focusing on Trick Williams. He's punching the crap out of him. He's kicking him again. And then he also takes that candy cane kendo stick and he's beating Little Yachty with it. So at this point, you would think that Little Yachty would just be on the ground. He's just kind of chilling on the floor for a little bit, just kind of selling that he's hurt. You know, Sami Zayn just beat the shit out of him with a couple kicks, a couple punches, and some kendo stick hits. And you would think that he was just going to sell it and just kind of be on the floor for a little bit. But it just seemed like he just popped right back up. Like he had a special in his energy bar. Like he just forgot, okay, give me 10 seconds, I'm going to get up. It's like he was mashing the controller when he's playing WWE 2K26. And he just rides right back up. Like, I'm not even joking, like maybe 6-7 seconds later, essentially not selling the beatdown he was just getting from Sami Zayn. So I'm like, gotta work on your selling, bruh. I ain't mad at him. I respect that he, watches the product and gets all that, but you gotta sell the selling, bro. You gotta sell that shit. You didn't sell that very well, in my opinion. He didn't sell it. From there, Trick responds with a clothesline. Sammy then hits a DDT to Trick on the steel steps. It looked pretty nasty from there. From there, Little Yachty gets right back up like nothing happened. Police sold the beatdown. From there, he's on the other side of the barricade, on the side where the commentary table is, the announce table. And from there, Sami Zayn hits Little Yachty with a haluva kick by the barricade, just like he did about a couple weeks ago, like prior to day 1 of WrestleMania. He did the same thing. He kicked the shit out of him, and then he goes down. Didn't sell it very well there either. From there, let's see. It was enough to cause a distraction. Sammy gets back into the ring. Trick hits Sami Zayn with a trick shot. Trick wins via pinfall. And from there, Lil Yachty just springs right back up like everything's cool. He runs in the ring to celebrate the win with Trick Williams with stacks of dollar bills, y'all. Dollar bills, y'all. And he's just tossing them out. And then people were reporting on social media that it was real $1 bills. I'm like, okay, y'all know what to do with $1 bills, right? And they were joking about it at the commentary table. Wade Barrett and Michael Cole is like, you know what you do with stacks of singles, right? And if you saw what happened on Friday, you know what I'm talking about. We won't get into too much detail on that, but you know what you do with $1 bills when you got stacks of them. You know what to do with them. From there, we get a FIFA World Cup commercial. You guys probably had to endure a 3 or 4 minute ad break in between all of that. There was another ad for Pressure, the untold true story of D-Day commercial. Another commercial, right? From there, we go back to the broadcast. Michael Cole is shilling WWEshop.com. Then right after that, there is a general insurance advert. You had a row of individuals. They were holding up towels with the general insurance on it. And they said it was like the Teddy Long family. I don't know if that was accurate or not. I'll have to refer back to it. But they said it was so for them to go there, they had to put up the towel that they're part of the general insurance row or something. That didn't make much sense. That was cringe. I was like, oh my God. Let's move on. The next match is Kit Wilson and The Miz versus Danhaunsen and a mystery partner. This went for 12 minutes. Danhaunsen is showing a recap movie. So he's essentially recapping the storyline from when he wanted to the Miz to become his mentor. Miz said, hell no, you don't get to be my mentor, go the hell away. From there, you continue to see what happened throughout this build where Danhausen starts to cause problems for the Miz. He goes to the Miz's house in Las Vegas. He, is in his pool. He's being a nuisance. Then after that, he accidentally does stuff. And before that, the Miz and Maurice were renewing their vows in Vegas, and he crashes that. Then the house thing happens, takes the daughter's bike. Then from there, it's like, the whole suitcase thing. He creates the real money from the suitcase. He walks away, and it's kind of like that Looney Tunes moment. It's like, why didn't the trap work? And then the Miz and Kit, they open it and they get hit with the white dust. And it's just recapping through the entire story between Danhausen, the Miz, and Kit Wilson. We get to the part where Danhausen comes out in the Danhausen mobile. I don't know what they call that shit. But he comes out, he parks it by the ramp. They had already staged that box where he was kind of trying to create his tag team partner since no one wanted to tag with him. 1 second, folks. All right, sorry about that. Anyways, from there, the box from yesterday is being brought out to the stage. The mystery box is lighting up and all these special effects is happening. And lo and behold, it wasn't Jelly Roll. No. It wasn't Shane McMahon. No. It wasn't any of the folks that they were telling us it could have been in the dirt sheets, in the media, online, on social media. It wasn't any of these folks. It was just Danhausen, a AAA short wrestler. They put him, essentially make him look like a mini housing, and he's wrestling lucha style in the ring with Danhausen. So that was interesting. It was very jarring. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't like, oh my God, why is this on the show? But I would have been better off if it was like on a SmackDown or on a Saturday night's main event. That would have made sense there, but they wanted to put this here in Backlash. Keep in mind, this match got more time than a lot of the matches that took place at WrestleMania Day 1 that just took place 3 weeks ago. Let that sink in for a moment. Think about that. Danhausen gets more time than the Liv Morgan, Stephanie McCur match. He gets more time than the Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre match. He gets more time than Trick Williams versus Sami Zayn 1 at WrestleMania. This match gets way more time than that, which is, I was like, man, that's rough. But it is what it is, folks. It is what it is. At the very beginning of the match, when the bell rings, once people were like, man, this is it. This is who the mystery tag team partner is going to be for Danhausen. No CM Punk, no Jelly Roll, no Shane McMahon. People are like, damn, we would have been better off with those folks compared to Midget Hausen. I'm sorry to say midget. I apologize. I refrain from that. Little Housing. I'm just going to call him Little Housing, all right? They would have been better off with a celebrity at this point. I just marked it as awful. So, from the beginning, Little Housing botches a Hurricanrana to Kit Wilson. So, already we're botching stuff. Let's see, what else? Oh, okay. I'm going to skip that because I thought I saw something, but I didn't see it. I saw it again. I was like, wait, that's not correct. Anyways, we get to the part where Little Housing tags in Danhausen for the hot tag. From there, Little Housing hits a decent suicide dive to Kit Wilson and The Miz onto the floor. Kit Wilson was at that point retreating towards the back, towards the stage. And while he's doing this, he's baiting Little Housing, and he hits him with a kick to the stage. From there, he throws Little Housing back into the box that he came from. He's like, enough of this. Get this Little Housing back into the box. Let's be done with this and wrap this match up. But what ends up happening is that now you got lights and smoke and all these effects happening. The box is reacting yet again. And not only now do you have that Little Housing, now you have the additional 5 or 6 Little Housing start coming out and start beating the crap out of Kit Wilson. Not sure what that was, not a disqualification, but it is what it is from there. From there, we go back into the ring. Little Housing tries to curse Kit Wilson. He's about this to be the you are he's about to do that. But before he does that, Kit Wilson brings out his mirror. So remember, he actually came out with his entrance. He came out with this mirror, and he's actually had this mirror for about a week or two now. So I guess it's part of his interests, I guess, a mirror, along with Blake Monroe, which we probably won't see until next year. All those vignettes they keep putting out. But anyways, man. Yeah, this gets weird. So he's about to curse, but when it happens, Kit Wilson takes the mirror and he puts it in the reflection of Lil Housing. And in doing so, he looks at his reflection and he has accidentally cursed himself. Crazy stuff, man. From there, The Miz hits the ring. He hits Lil Housing with the skull crushing finale. He pins Lil Housing, but Danhausen comes in here to stop the pin. He interferes and breaks it up. From there, Danhausen hits The Miz with the Lou Thesz press, and he's beating up on The Miz. From there, Kit Wilson goes over the top rope. From there, The Miz goes under the ring to go grab a fire extinguisher, and he's about to just, he says, "You are cursed with this fire extinguisher," and he's about to essentially blow all the other 5 or 6 housings away, try to get him out of the match. But in doing so, nothing comes out. It's another Looney Tunes moment where he's pulling the trigger, but nothing comes out. He pulls the trigger. None of that, refrigerant comes out, whatever that is. He's like, what the hell's going on? He points the spout at himself, pulls the trigger, he pops himself and Kit Wilson with the fire extinguisher. From there, Lil Housing hits a splash from the top to Kit Wilson to the floor. From there, Danhausen hits his finisher, like some kind of special kick, to The Miz. He pins The Miz 1, 2, 3. And Danhausen pins The Miz in the PLE via pinfall. Right after that, we get another little advert. WWE Superstar, those figurines with, Dusty Rhodes and some other folks that, Hulk Hogan, buy merchandise, buy some figurines, please. From there, they make a special announcement that AAA, it will have their Triple Mania on September 11th and September 12th. Maybe it's the 12th. I was typing this so fast, I don't have the dates, and it's in mid-September. I apologize, but for the first time in AAA's history, they're going to be doing a 2-day Triple Mania, where Saturday will take place and Sunday will take place. It was kind of strange, though, because when they made this announcement, they had the venue for Sunday already set. It will be in Mexico City. But then on the Saturday, the day before the Mexico City one, it's said to be determined. So they had no idea. We don't know where this first day is taking place, but they went out of their way to make this announcement, not knowing where the first day is going to take place. I'm like, wow. And this wasn't the only weird technical issue that happened during the show. There's more to this. We'll keep going. From there, there's a Wayfair commercial. You guys probably end up having to suffer through 3-4 minutes of ad breaks yet again. Remember, I'm watching the VOD at this point, so they cut that. They're pretty quick with it, so I give them credit there. So allow me to kind of catch up a little bit. I didn't have to endure the 3-minute nothing ads of the hype of folks just standing there looking good and doing all the nice little things to make them look cool, and they're flexing and they're doing their taunts, and it's like that crap is what we're subjected to for Netflix International. By the way, that's what I have set up. I have Netflix International set up for myself because I'm not spending $30 a month to watch this shit. I am sorry. I'm not doing it. I already pay for Netflix. I so happen to have things that allow me to go watch the content in different parts of the world. You can thank Stephanie McMahon for that. Remember, she recommended it when she advertised it. So y'all got a problem, y'all can blame Stephanie McMahon for that. She brought it up. I just took her advice and went from there. From there, we come back and then just Riyadh season on yet another commercial baked in. And right after that commercial ended, you can actually hear the crowd booing in the arena. They turned down the crowd noise so you couldn't really hear them booing, but we heard them booing. We heard the boos. I'm like, well, I'm gonna tell you. Move on. Next, the show of the match of the night: Io Sky versus Asuka. Io Sky comes out first, followed by Asuka with her awesome music. I love her theme music. Her music is awesome. And I'll be honest, her second version of her theme music, it wasn't that bad because it was similar. It kept to the beat like the first theme song, But the second one, it was okay. It was just fine. It wasn't terrible. It was deferable, but this first version, I've always enjoyed this theme song for Asuka. It's amazing. It's awesome. Love it. Anyways, immediately when the bell rings, which this match went 18 minutes, by the way, so they gave them the time they needed to do what they needed to do. The bell rings and immediately the crowd chants, "We want Kyrie." It was so loud. I mean, there was no way the WWE was going to be able to cut it off without people noticing or try to pipe something in. It was very clear. And it happened multiple times throughout the match. So it starts with, they tie up. They do some chain wrestling. They keep chatting. After the chain wrestling, which was about a minute or two in, they start chanting again, "We want Kyrie." There was no Kyrie at all today. So if there was news that she may have already, flown back to Japan, but we don't have the full details. We do know that Kyrie didn't run away from the situation based on what she said directly to the audience when she posted on Twitter. And we'll continue with the match. Io is hitting Asuka with back fist. From there, Io takes Asuka to the turnbuckle. She goes up to the top and then she hits Asuka with the missile drop kick. She starts doing her little chants, what makes her awesome, and everyone's in the crowd doing this. From there, she hits the bullet train running from one side of the turnbuckle. She runs to the other corner, hits her with the knees. They call it the bullet train. From there, she pins Asuka. Asuka kicks out at 2. Io goes with an underhook. She's trying to go with a special move, but it didn't work out. Asuka counters and starts hitting her with a flurry. You know how she starts going insane with her flurries. From there, she hits her with a kick. She pins Io Sky, but she kicks out at 2. Asuka's going to go for a kick, and when she does that, Io actually rolls her up. Asuka ends up kicking out from the roll-up pin. From there, Asuka gets hit with a second kick. Io pins her. She kicks out at 2. Io hits with a reverse German suplex with a bridge pin, but Asuka kicks out at 2. A counter with the Asuka lock, and Io finds a way to get out of the Asuka lock when it's applied. From there, both of them go after. They both go down after they hit one another. They're going with their special moves. They're hitting hard, and then Io hits a kick. They both go down. Referee's checking on both of them. Here was one thing this was one thing I noticed. Normally, when both superstars are on the mat, normally back in the day, the referee starts to count to 10. Because if he counts to 10 and both wrestlers are still on the mat, they don't go up to their feet, that would result in a double knockout, and there would be a no contest. But instead, referees are just checking in with each wrestler. They're still on the mat, but he doesn't count at all. That's something I noticed that they just don't do anymore. So I'm not exactly sure why they don't do that anymore, but it is what it is. I just noticed that and just wanted to bring that up. From there, Asuka counters with an Asuka lock. Io gets back up on her feet to kind of get out of the Asuka lock. She then hits Asuka with a stunner. Io runs directly at Asuka, but as she's running towards her, Asuka counters with an arm bar submission. Io counters with a cross-face chicken wing. It may actually have been the Asuka lock, but they didn't really specify. It kind of looked like the Asuka lock. From there, Asuka gets on her feet. She gets her feet. She's dragging. She's on the floor. She's trying to reach towards the rope to break the hold, and she does that. Her foot touches the rope. The referee says, "Io, I need you to break that hold." From there, Asuka is going, she's still kind of pulling out towards the floor, but she hits the apron. Asuka hits Io into the steel post from there. Asuka goes up onto the turnbuckle, but Io responds with an uppercut. From there, Io goes up to the turnbuckle. She's striking Asuka. From there, she hits a Huracanrana, but as this is happening, Asuka actually counters with a pin, but Io kicks out at 2. Asuka gets drop kicked out of the ring. Io from there goes for a kick suicide dive, but Asuka counters with an uppercut. She's on the floor. Io Sky is running, about to do the suicide, but she replies with an uppercut to block that from happening. They both go up towards the top turnbuckle yet again. Hopefully, no, I take that back. Let me rephrase. After that uppercut, Asuka actually takes Io Sky to the announce table. They're both on top of this table, the announce table that was over there with Michael Cole and Wade Barrett. From there, Asuka actually tries to spray Io with the mist, but Io was actually very brilliant here. It's a decent spot. She actually grabs Wade Barrett's like notepad, like the note binder that he brings with him to the announce table. He takes the binder. Well, Io takes the binder. She picks it up and she uses it to block the mist from hitting her in the face. So that's actually pretty brilliant there. From there, Io trips Asuka, so she hits the top of the table face first. From there, she rolls off into the floor. Io Sky hits Asuka with a crossbody from the top of the announce table onto the floor. From there, Io goes to the apron and hits a springboard moonsault back to Asuka to the floor. From there, Io goes to the sky. She climbs up the turnbuckle. She's going to hit her moonsault, but Asuka avoids it. Asuka then counters with her Asuka lock. She has it in there, but Io Skies gets out of the lock by reversing it into a pin. They count it, but Asuka kicks out. From that point, the crowd is chanting yet again, "This is awesome." From there, Asuka hits a reverse German suplex. Then Io Sky responds with one of her own. From there, Io Sky hits another bullet train from one corner. If I remember correctly, she hits it from one corner, and then she hits her, runs back, she hits her again with yet another bullet train. That sets her up. That sets Asuka up towards the drop zone for Io to hit her special moonsault. She goes up to the top. She hits her moonsault. She pins Asuka, and then she wins via pinfall. Like I was saying earlier in the show, I felt that they needed to steal this show in order to be like, yeah, this is a banger. And they absolutely did that. This was by far probably the best match of the show, in my opinion. They did a fantastic job. They told their story. And then again, I said this back on Monday and I meant it. I don't care about the match just because the whole reason this match is even taking place is because Kyrie was in the middle of all of this, but they released her. And so they had to pivot a little bit and turn it into a, well, although, you know, it was like, I admire you, I respect you highly, like you were my senpai, you taught me everything that I know, but the Asuka I'm looking at right now is not the same Asuka that I know from back then. And I need to just fight you and move on from this. Essentially done. Now, Asuka replied by saying that Io Sky was her biggest disappointment. And she was just going to take care of her so she can move on herself. This was what the conversation they had this past Monday. And I'm like, they have to steal the show, and that's exactly what they did. From there, after the match ends, there's a little end segment. They're still in the ring. I believe the music stopped for a second. But you saw Io Sky, she gets up on her feet, and she actually bows. So she bows to Asuka, essentially showing respect, saying, hey, this was a fantastic match. That was awesome. And she bows down in respect to Asuka. Asuka is on her knees. She's starting to break down. You can see her starting to cry. You know, they start hugging and they start, you know, showing a lot of love and respect for one another. It was a very emotional moment there. And I was kind of confused by this, but apparently, and again, like I was in the middle of work when this all went down. I wasn't checking social media because I didn't want it spoiled before I had a chance to watch the show. And I didn't really understand what was happening, but about 12 hours before the show started on Instagram, Asuka posted with a photo of her kind of just reflecting in her hotel room, looking outside, and the song's being played. And the song was Frank Sinatra, My Way. So, you know, I'm hearing this, I'm looking at this, and you saw people on Twitter kind of just, you know, replying to her in a way, just kind of showing respect and, you know, showing awesome photos of Asuka. So was this the last match we see Asuka in WWE? Was this the final match? Is she retiring? Is her contract expiring? Like, what's happening? Was she presented with this 50% pay cut? Did she like say no and just been like, okay, let's just let this last match be it and I'm done? It would be very devastating if this is the last match for Asuka in WWE, because Asuka's awesome. Like, she's a fantastic wrestler in the ring. Her Her presentation is just off the charts. Her wrestling ability, even with her knee injury that she recovered from, and obviously you see her with that knee brace, so she's using it for support. She still can go, and she is great at it. But if it's her time, if she's saying this is it, and this is it for sure, then thank you, Asuka. We really appreciate that. We appreciate everything you've done for the wrestling business, for women's wrestling, for NXT, for the main roster. It's just unfortunate the turn events where her WrestleMania opportunity was taken away from her for a lot of different reasons, for no reason. This cooked for a long time. This was a story that was cooking and simmering for like at least 7 to 8 months. And then for Kairi Sane to be released in the middle of the storyline, there is no payout, no payoff, no WrestleMania match. And we might have possibly seen the last of Asuka tonight. So if you haven't watched it, I highly recommend you watch it, and you watch this match specifically. It was pretty darn good. And just pay attention towards the end of it, and you'll see what I'm talking about. From there, we move on to the next part of the show. There's surface boxing, I guess UFO boxing. There was an advertisement for that. From there, Alicia Taylor welcomes John Cena. John Cena makes his way out towards the ring. He doesn't run. He's in a suit. He's walking towards the ring, as a retired man should be. The crowd's chanting Cena. From there, and I paraphrased all of this. I didn't necessarily type this out word for word, because this was supposed to be a foundational, this is going to change the core of WWE as we know it. What in the world announcement did John Cena have for us tonight? Well, let's talk about it. John Cena thanks the universe for allowing him to enjoy the moment, as he knows no one's going to come out to kick his ass. He said Michael Cole announced that there was a sold out crowd of about 15,000 plus in the arena tonight. From there, he's like, we've always been kind of wondering what is next for John Cena, he essentially says. And the crowd chants, one more match, one more match. From there, John said he thinks about that last match, that last evening, essentially kind of summarizing, yeah, that was it. He's not doing it again. At that point, the crowd boos him in disappointment. Not like they hate him or anything. It's just they're disappointed they don't get to see John Cena in another match. But if y'all were paying attention, you saw this man walk to the ring tonight, and you saw him slightly, like, he wasn't struggling like he was like hurt, but this man has been doing this for a very, very long time. And you could tell that, he's relaxed. He's chill. He's not trying to be super stiff. He's not trying to, act like he knows what he's doing in that ring anymore. He's done. And when he said it, he meant that. At least that's what I'm led to believe. And if I know John Cena, I believe him when he says it. When he says, I'm done, that means it's done. You can chat one more match as much as you want. You can blow the roof off arenas and say, I want one more match with John Cena. I don't think it's happening. I think he meant it. That was it. I don't think there's any more money that WWE can give him that would allow him to do another match. I don't think he has it in him anymore. And that's okay, man. Like, he's put his time in. It was rocky at first. Like, at first he started heel, and then he was like a face for like essentially the majority of his career. It got to a point where the fans just got sick of him. But then when he left, he was doing his movies and stuff. People started to appreciate what they had, and now they missed. So when he started coming back periodically, shortly after the 2020, like early 2020s, 21, 22, people really appreciated what he was able to do, what he did, and that he still was able to kind of do what he could do in the ring. So people really admired that, because they realized, there's not much time left that you have with John Cena. So you just got to maximize your opportunities when that happens. So he was essentially recapping Monday night main event that took place back in December in Washington, D.C. He does mention and give shout outs to Sol Ruka, Javon Evans, especially Obafemi. Now, when he mentioned Obafemi, he actually, he said that he started doing like his strut in the ring, and the crowd is just going crazy. Oba, and they started barking. Cena says, damn, we got to do this again. And he reflected on Saturday night's main event. He's like, that felt so good, where new superstars had an opportunity to show what they were all about. And it made sense. John Cena is the main event. He is the feature. It was his retirement match, which drew everybody to go watch it, to go attend in Washington, D.C. And during that, You saw fresh new superstars like Javon Evans when he go up against? I forgot who he wrestled. He went up against, I believe, was it LA Knight? I don't remember, but I know Obafemi went up against Cody Rhodes. That ended early because of interference by Drew McIntyre. But what they gave you was a decent match. You had Sol Ruka going up against Bailey, which actually it was a decent match as well as Saturday night's main event, where Sol Ruka ended up winning. She went over in that match. And he was like, yeah, I'm remembering this thing, and this is all these new fresh talent, and it was great to give them that opportunity to see them shine and to present themselves to a new crowd, to the masses. Tens if not hundreds of millions of people were watching John Cena, at least that show where John Cena had his last match against Gunther. From there, he essentially says this is the big announcement. He wants to give people an opportunity from WWE and NXT to compete for an opportunity to become a winner and champion of the John Cena Classic. That was a big announcement. Now, it wasn't like, oh my God, this is terrible, I can't believe it, oh my God, this was the dumbest thing ever. It wasn't that. But it also wasn't like, oh my God, WWE's being sold again off, like they're leaving TKO. It wasn't that either, unfortunately. I would have loved to have seen WWE just be like, you know what? Can we buy ourselves out? Or can we just be sold by someone else? Can we be sold by TNT or TBS? Can Tony Khan please buy the WWE? Because this TKO garbage sucks. Unfortunately, that didn't happen tonight. But we ended up getting the John Cena Classic. So we don't have all the details. We don't have like every single little piece of how this is going to work. But apparently there will be a new championship. It's going to be wrapped, based and designed by John Cena. He's saying he's putting his name behind this. And he says he's doing everything he can to make sure that the John Cena Classic is as good as it was, like as if people were trying to wrestle to fight John Cena last year in December, where they had a tournament and they were, making sure whoever fought John Cena for his very last match, they earned their spot. He wants to kind of replicate that, minus the whole wrestle John Cena part. But here's a championship instead, and like, congratulations. But the twist is that they're going to give the WWE Universe the opportunity to vote for who will be the champion for the John Cena Classic, which is very, very interesting. And we'll see how that turns out later on. From there, he takes the second to, he's taking this all in. He wants to thank the watchers at home, and he wants to thank everybody who attended at Tampa Bay. He thanked the audience, and he says that he will see us at the John Cena Classic, and it transitions over to the main event of the evening. Now, before this takes place, there was yet another ad segment, and this was for Mug Root Beer. Now, the advert, a normal one, a general one by itself is not bad. That's not the issue here. It got a little cringy because, you had this mascot looking like a deformed bulldog with 2 cans of Mug Root Beer, which I'm not mad at. I got Mug Root Beer. In fact, actually, I got Barf's. I actually got Barf's Root Beer on the counter. Sorry. Is what it is. But then you see Wade Barrett and Michael Cole. They take the cans of root beer. They both open up a can of this Mug Root Beer, and they're both drinking it live during this ad segment. Almost like it was a requirement that they had to take a sip and drink this Mug Root Beer as part of the ad, man. So I'm like, man, that's cringe. That's so cringe, man. It just is. Anyways, we get yet another pressure, whatever. I think I did. It was like Suffa boxing, but iOS when like spell corrected it to pressure. Well, I don't know. Oh no. It was the Pressure movie that they advertised. My bad. It was a Pressure commercial, so they ran that back again. And then they had a Clash in Italy commercial. From there, the main event begins. Roman Reigns versus Jacob Fatu for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. This goes for 18 minutes. Everybody, Jacob Fatu comes out. He has special attire on. He has this, I forget what they call it, but it was a special necklace that was made by Haku's daughter, if I heard correctly. Michael Cole was explaining this. But I didn't get all of that, and I was just too busy enjoying the entrances. I'm like, when I see Jacob Fatu's music, bro, I go off, man. I have a good time when I like. It is Def Rebel. Let's not get it twisted. But Jacob Fatu's music, it's pretty decent, man. I like how they did his music. He comes out and he does his stuff, you know. It's great. Anyways, Roman Reigns comes out. The Alicia Taylor announces to the superstars the match gets started, and he may immediately, when the bell rings, the crowd chants Roman Reigns, European style, Roman Reigns. From there, a couple moments later, they then start to chant OTC, so you know who the crowd is trying to get to win this match. From there, they tie up, and again, I was in the process where it's like, nah, I'll just wait. I'm gonna watch and enjoy this fully, but I'm like, no, this is pretty good. I should be able to type fast enough and pay attention to the match. So they tie it up. Roman Reigns hits Jacob Fatu with a shoulder tackle. But after that shoulder tackle, Jacob's on the floor. Roman Reigns puts his one finger up. As he does this, during the Hall Herd camera, Jacob Fatu gets right back up. He no-sells this. From there, Jacob says it's not going to be easy. And actually, what happened? Yeah, Jacob gets back up. He no-sells it. He hits him with his own shoulder tackle. And it's like, yeah, it's not going to be easy this time, Roman. From there, Roman hits him with a clothesline. But again, Jacob Fatu no-sells the clothesline. From there, Jacob sends Roman outside to the floor. Jacob Fatu then hits a suicide dive. But when he does the suicide dive, he also grabs Roman Reigns in the throat, hit him with that tongue and death grip. He has it in there, and it's locked in outside on the floor. Roman hits... then he actually, while he has him with his tongue and grip, he's taking Roman Reigns and he's pushing him, he's shoving him into that steel post. From there, he tosses Roman back into the ring. Roman Reigns then he takes Jacob Fatu's hand and he gives him a receipt by taking him outside and hits him into the steel corner. Looks like what's happening here is that Roman Reigns is targeting Jacob Fatu's hand and arm to help him wear him down, to like kind of weaken the ability of how much pressure he's putting on that tongue and death grip. So this is great psychology. It's like, oh, I know you're gonna hit me with this finisher. I know you're gonna try to submit me with the tongue and death grip. So what we're gonna do? We're gonna target the arm. We're gonna target the hand that's trying to hit me with that tongue and death grip to weaken that throughout the match. So that's smart game right there. That's smart game, as we all know that Roman does, you know. Roman he's working on the arm and he's working on the rest of Jacob Fatu. There's a couple things I missed, so I'm gonna go ahead and continue. Jacob starts headbutting Roman to the mat. So Roman's on the mat. He's laid out. Jacob Fatu's getting up and he's just hitting Roman Reigns. He just continues to just hit him with his headbutts. Jacob Fatu then drives Roman to the steel post. So he Irish whips him, but then he goes into the middle of the turnbuckle, hits him square in the shoulder in the steel post. From there, he rolls up Roman to the apron. He rolls him out there. While he's doing this, Jacob is taunting the crowd. From there, Jacob charges at Roman at the turnbuckle, but he misses and he ends up hitting himself to the top of the head. So he ends up jumping, overserting himself, and he hits his head to the top of the turnbuckle. Roman Reigns then hits Jacob with a big boot. From there, he taunts the crowd. He gets ready. He's getting ready for that Superman punch. And from there, Jacob kicks out. Actually, yeah, he hits him with the Superman punch. He pins Jacob Fatu for the one. But Jacob Fatu immediately kicks out at 1, and Roman is freaking the heck out. He no-sells the Superman punch. He gets right back up. It's like, bruh, it's going to take a little bit more to take me down. And you see Roman, he's like tripping. He's like, he kicked out at 1? What? Yeah, the expressions were great here. So at this point, they get up. They're trading blows against one another. From there, Jacob responds and hits with standing sentons. He hits him with not 1, but 2 standing sentons. At that point, Jacob goes to the turnbuckle and starts headbutting Roman at the turnbuckle. From there, Roman hits another Superman punch. Jacob kicks out at 2 this time. Both men are laying out on the mat. Michael Cole mentions there's 15,000 people in attendance. I don't know why I put that there. Roman Reigns then rolls out to the ring, and while Jacob Fatu is over by the apron, Roman Reigns goes old school and he hits him with the drive-by to Jacob. From there, Roman then clears the announce table. Jacob hits the Tongan. He applies the Tongan death grip after the table has been cleared. And then from there, Jacob Fatu actually hits Roman Reigns with a power bomb through the announce table. From there, he's taking Roman. He's rolling him back into the ring. He starts taunting. And while he does this, he distracts himself. Roman Reigns then hits him with a spear. He pins him, but Jacob kicks out at 2. The crowd is chanting, "This is awesome." From there, Roman is getting ready for yet another spear. He's running at Jacob, but before he can hit the spear, Jacob counters with a pop-up Samoan drop. From there, he goes to the turnbuckle. He climbs up top. He hits his finishing moonsault. He pins Roman Reigns 1-2, but Roman kicks out at 2. At this point, Jacob is incensed. He continues to beat up on Roman Reigns. He keeps hitting him with standing headbutts. He gets up and he keeps coming down with them headbutts. Jacob is starting to bleed out the mouth because he keeps using his head. From there, it wasn't terrible. The blood started drying up, so it wasn't bad. Jacob Fatu goes to the turnbuckle. He wants to go for a swanton instead of a moonsault. He's going to do a front flip, so he's going for the swanton. But when he lands, Roman Reigns puts his knees up to block the swanton from connecting. From there, Roman is grabbing and favoring his knee. He's hurting. From there, the crowd is chanting OTC to try to get Roman Reigns back into this. They then start staring at one another. And from there, they start trading blows. Roman hits Jacob Fatu. Jacob hits Roman. And they're just going back and forth. From there, Jacob Fatu is backing it up on Roman. He hits him twice. So, he has him at the turnbuckle. Roman is sitting down at the bottom part of the turnbuckle. And then Jacob Fatu runs at him and he hits him with the backside. That's what he does. He hits him twice. So he hits him first. He runs all the way back to the other side of the turnbuckle. He runs at him again. He hits him for a second time. He runs back. And then from there, he's preparing for the Tongan death grip onto Roman Reigns. From there, he applies it right in the middle of the ring. He has it in there. And Roman, he's unable to break this. He's unable to get out of it. You see he's starting to fade. And he's fading. He goes down to one knee. He's still trying to fight. He's still trying to get out of it. But he is fading away. From there, the referee is grabbing Roman Reigns because he's at the point that he's just not able to kind of just be in there. He's almost completely out of the situation. But he grabs his arm, he comes down, but he still has a little bit left in him. He still has a little bit of energy left. He's fighting back. And while he's trying to get out of this, he runs into the referee and he also runs into the turnbuckle. At this point, the turnbuckle, it just gets ripped out. The top turnbuckle is exposed. From there, I must have missed something, but from there, he runs Jacob into the steel steps. From there, he's hitting that Superman punch. Jacob is trying to respond with a pop-up, but Roman actually counters that with another Superman punch, followed by a spear. He pins Jacob Fatu, but he kicks out at 2.5. Super close, but he wasn't able to get the job done at that moment. Jacob Fatu then grabs Roman while he's on the floor. He grabs him, kind of like the Undertaker. He grabs him and puts him in the Tongan death grip yet again. But at this point, Roman is grabbing the referee to try to help him release the hold. At this point, the turnbuckle comes off. I don't understand, man. I keep messing this up, but it's all good. I apologize. You got to watch the shit if you want to see for yourself. I'm just completely butchering it, but with practice, we'll get better. I apologize. Anyways, the turnbuckle comes up. It's exposed. He hits Jacob Fatu. He then hits him with a spear. He pins him. 1, 2, 3. It's over. Roman Reigns is he retains the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. From that point, Jacob Fatu is incensed. He is pissed off. He's like, I can't stand this. And so he starts beating down on Roman Reigns. He gets him down into the mat. He's laid out right in the middle. He continues to beat up on him. So at this point, all the producers, all the writers coming out. They try to break this up between Jacob Fatu and Roman Reigns. While this is all happening, Jacob Fatu is still beating up. He's beating up on all of them. The referee's even trying to come in to help break this up. But while this is happening, he actually takes the referee. He puts him on he lifts him up. He goes for the pop up Samoan drop onto the referee. This match is over at this point. But like I said, he just doesn't give a damn. And he's just incensed and destroying everything that he sees. He's just turned red. Everyone comes out. But yeah, Jacob is just beating up on every single one of them. He beats the crap out of formerly known as the Hurricane Shane Helms. Beats the crap out of him. He takes Adam Pearce. Adam Pearce is out there in the middle of the ring trying to help break this up. But Adam Pearce, he gets grabbed by Jacob Fatu and he tosses him out like last week's garbage. He just doesn't care. He doesn't give a damn. He just throws him out. From there, he reapplies the tongue and death grip to Roman until he's just completely out. To a point where you can actually see Roman is essentially foaming at the mouth. He's just, all this spit and all this grossness just comes out. And he's essentially out. He's done. He puts him down. From there, Jacob Fatu leaves the ring. He's going backstage. He turns back. He's like, you know what? I'm not done. So he runs back into the ring and he charges at Roman Reigns when he gets up and recovers. And he grabs him by the throat yet again for yet another tongue and death grip. And he puts him completely out into the middle of the ring. Roman Reigns is completely laid out yet again. And he's out for the count this time. There's no getting up from this. From there, Jacob Fatu grabs the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. He's standing tall above Roman Reigns. He puts the title up high while he's doing this. From there, he just tosses the title, the credits roll, and that's essentially it for the show, folks. So there you go. That was your review for WWE Backlash. That's everything that took place. Obviously, there was a couple notes that I missed, and I apologize for that. But I think I did a little bit of a better job here in noting everything while still enjoying the PLE. That's the only difference. When I'm doing reviews now, like I have to remember, you have to be in the moment. Just enjoy this stuff. And overall, like the show, honestly, if you were to compare Backlash to day one of WrestleMania just a few weeks ago, I say that Backlash was better than WrestleMania day one. And it's not even close. Just the mere fact that they gave these wrestlers the time they needed to do what they needed to do. Like I already mentioned it to y'all, everything got at least 15 minutes or more. And that included the shows that were on ESPN for free. So for example, let me see. I'm looking at this. Yeah, Seth Rollins, that got 22 minutes. It got the most time out of all of them. Because I believe the last match, it was only 18 minutes. Trick Williams and Sammy got 13 minutes. So I take that back. 13 minutes for sure. You got Kit Wilson, The Miz got 12 minutes. You had Io Sky and Asuka at 18 minutes. And then the last match of the show, and I'm really tired. That also got 18 minutes. So they gave them the time they needed, man. It was nothing compared to day one of WrestleMania. Day one was absolute doo-doo garbage trash. But this kind of made up for it, minus the fact they don't care about the stage. Now, from everything that's been going on recently with the releases, with the approaching of stars and asking them to take a 50% pay cut after signing on the dotted line for their contracts, it just feels like they're just doing everything to just throw ads in your face, but then they're being cheap by not even putting any effort into the stage for Backlash. It's just unfortunate. You know, I mean, it didn't take away from the show itself. It was just something that I noticed. I'm like, damn, this sucks. It would have been nice if they put a little bit of effort. But here we are. At the end of the day, this was a decent show. I was not upset about this. They still have to fine tune some stuff. Like even if they took that Danhaunsen, Lil Housing, Miz and Kit Wilson, if they put that on the free version, I would have been fine with that. And then you put the other matches on the show that people are actually paying for. I think that would have been a little bit better. But, you know, I don't run the show. It is what it is. At the end of the day, I felt pretty good about this thing. I'm like, okay, I see where you're going. I see Triple H saw that everybody was in the streets going crazy over the very funky day one of WrestleMania. They were upset that Io Sky and Asuka didn't get their moment at WrestleMania. They got it here. And they did it. They brought the house down just like I said they needed to. And they did exactly that. So It is what it is. And I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. We've been doing this for an hour and 30 minutes. I just want to say, yo, man, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I might have to. So yeah, man, thank you again for hanging out and chilling with your boy JD on this Sunday night. Sunday night is Saturday night. I am extremely tired. We got the next couple days off. Got some things to do. We got some unrelated video ideas. We're probably gonna do a small video on the Steam controller. That should be coming in the next couple days. I hope it comes sooner than it's estimated, just because of where it's coming from, but you know, no rush. I'm just happy it shipped. You know, I hope to get to enjoy it soon. We're probably gonna end up going into the Snortex, and if those of you who know what I just said, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I think we're gonna enter the Snortex, and we're gonna have a conversation about what's going on in the Snortex, man. The Pignosis is not set in this brain. You're not gonna overthrow me with the Pignosis, but we got to go in with the Snortex, and don't worry, we're gonna be making sure we are completely ready to go, and we will not be overthrown by Pignosis in the Snortex. And again, y'all know what I'm talking about, man. But man, if you enjoyed this, man, thank you. Please, if you don't mind, if you enjoy it, consider it. You ain't got to do nothing. You can just watch this junk, enjoy it for what it is. Consider hitting that like button. Consider subscribing. We're trying to hit that 2,000 subscribers. I'm trying to get that done. Yeah. And without further ado, folks, thank you so much. Until next time, peace out.